work with a lot of drama students, and
Mm.
one of the things that some of the students are doing is working on an essay about certain practitioners, and we talk about how artists bring their life and then they translate it into their work. That's so much. That's the case for John. That's the case for even yourself at times, because a lot of the themes in your work is like failing and then coming back up, or being kind of knocked down in some capacity and coming back up. And same
Yeah.
with John now here. It's like art
Well, my
imitates life.
favorite my favorite movie of all time is Rocky. That's like
Yeah.
my favorite movie. And I love the whole Rocky series, but I mean, specifically the first movie I saw when
Yeah.
I was like 5 years old. And it's just like, there's so many themes of that, and it's easy in your mind to think like, yes, of course you go through adversity in life and things, but when you're actually in it, it's hard to tell yourself like, no, like you got to keep pushing forward. That's why fighting is like a real metaphor for life, in some
Mm.
ways. Get knocked down, you got to get back up. And, I've been knocked down plenty of times in my career too. I mean, most of the things I've pitched haven't happened. I've been right at the finish line on things and the project doesn't go. And it can get really disheartening because you're putting a lot of work into it, but you just gotta have to brush yourself off and keep moving forward and persist. I think like in what we do, and probably this is true with the Dark Side of the Ring guys too. You just have to be persistent.
Mm.
It's more important than talent in a way, I think, because most people after you want to be realistic. I mean, if you say I want to be a professional fighter and you're 0 and 15, like, well, maybe I'll do something fighter. But as you're coming up, like even I saw with Rob Lowe, WME, the agency, couldn't sell the documentary. They couldn't get funding for this one that he wanted to do, and he's like, well, I'll find it. And I was like, all right. And then he, like 6 months later, is like, hey, I was at a dinner and Michael Bloomberg was there. And he's like, I pitched them and they want to put money into this documentary. And then he was like, hey, I was talking to somebody at Peacock. They're taking Parks and Rec. And I showed them the documentary. So like, he always has this mindset, like it's going to happen, and if you're not going to do it, then get out of the way because I'll find somebody who's going to help me do it. So, I've learned a lot from him, and Snoop Dogg has that same mentality. There's a reason why these people like Snoop Dogg, Rob Lowe, they've been successful for so long,
Mm.
And like arguably Snoop Dogg's more relevant now than like ever. And
Yeah.
he's been around since like 93 or 92.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe's been around since like the early 80s, and he had a real giant dip and came all the way back and he's on multiple, he has a hit TV show now. He has a Netflix movie coming out. So I mean, the guy's just he just grinds. So
Yeah.
I try to, remember that too.